Family, greetings, greetings. Let me salute you, all the chain champions. I salute you and I greet you in the name of the Lord. We are once again live with Chatufa, and it is the gospel of the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. You know, there are times or days that at times I think I'm not going to be coming live on show, but I'm telling you, I won't be feeling that good if I don't have an interaction. I agree with Gogo Stole, who is saying a day without family is like a year. Indeed, it is like that. So welcome to the show. We are very grateful that once again we are live on the show as we continue to look at events that are happening in the nation, things that are happening around the country as we are being taken slowly to the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. We are standing in prayer as intercessors and as those that believe in the plans and the move of God for the nation of Zimbabwe. We are declaring that freedom is now and freedom is coming. And many other events are happening also in the country and outside the country. And we are seeing as Zimbabwean lives continue to be endangered in South Africa. We see Mnangagwa and Zanu PF caring less. They don't even care what is happening. Very sad developments really that are happening in South Africa recently because of the violence against foreigners that continue to happen here and there, the xenophobic attacks that continue to happen in South Africa. And it is very unfortunate that in most cases we would find some of our own brethren, our own beloved citizens of Zimbabwe being victims in these kind of attacks that are happening against the foreigners in South Africa. And very recently, something of this nature also has just happened again in South Africa. And it is very sad, a very sad development that is happening, which, as people that care, as Africans, we really are not supposed to be allowing such things to be happening in our nations. See, I have this post from Hazel, which says, Africa is a borderless continent. The borders which divided us were put by the colonialists, but otherwise we are one. Seeing other Africans treating and killing other Africans through this gruesome and painful mechanism is un-African. We are bound with Ubuntu and love. Stop this. This is a victim, a Zimbabwean, who has just been attacked in South Africa and has been killed. And this is a very sad thing, a very sad development. When we look at lives being lost, young people losing their lives who are going out of the country with the hope that they are going to look for a livelihood outside the country, and only to meet such kind of fate. It is very painful. And when we see our own children, our own brothers and sisters, getting killed outside the country, and failing to come back while their families are waiting back home for them to be coming back home, with some goodies, with some food or whatever, with the hope that somebody who has gone out in the diaspora is going to be making life of the family better, and only to be told that they are bringing somebody probably as ashes, in a small container, or as bones that have been found killed somewhere. And it's sad what is happening to the Zimbabwean people because of Zanu PF. All this is because of Zanu PF. If our country had been a country that allowed our own citizens to get employed, to get a life in Zimbabwe, to start businesses in Zimbabwe, and to do well in Zimbabwe, I don't see anybody who could have left the country going out there. It's painful to be out there. It's very painful to be outside your own homeland. Home will always be home, and home will always be best. I tell you, no matter how much somebody can go outside Zimbabwe and live a very flamboyant or successful life, I'm telling you, you'll still be feeling that there is something that is amiss. And what is amiss is just waking up to a neighbor that you can say, something like that, just missing that. It's enough. It's just enough to show that things are not well. Things are not well. And we miss the kind of interaction that we do with our own people. We miss the food. We miss the events that we at times we do as communities, as families, as neighbors. We always have this other rapport that we have, which does not exist when we go out there in other countries. When we used to grow up, we used to know that at times a visitor would arrive at our home and we are not home. Everyone is away. We would find our visitor having been taken by the neighbor. They've already been given food there. They've already even taken a bath, something like that. Even our keys for our house. We could leave our keys with the neighbor because somebody else would be coming later. And that neighbor would not ever go to the house and open and take or steal anything. It was the Ubuntu kind of life that we used to live in a good Zimbabwe, not a greedy and selfish Zimbabwe that ZANU-PF is cultivated in the country. So it is said when we continue to see these xenophobic attacks that are happening to our people out there in South Africa, and it is not only in South Africa, all over the world, Zimbabweans are being exposed to very dangerous situations and conditions. Many Zimbabweans have lost their lives because of some kind of ill treatment, mistreatment, or maltreatment, or any other kind of dangerous experiences that they can go through, but just because you are a foreigner in a certain land and you don't have rights to some other issues, you don't know how to maneuver in other issues. Because of that, you become automatically vulnerable whenever you are living outside your own homeland. This is a very painful thing when we look at ZANU-PF and Emmerson Mnangagwa busy right now trying to see a way or some means of extending their rule, their power, their stay on power, when Zimbabweans are being butchered and killed outside Zimbabwe, like what is happening in South Africa. Nobody is caring about it and nobody talks about it. Zimbabweans are killed almost on a daily basis. They are butchered. Unfortunate things happen to Zimbabweans, but you never even hear ZANU-PF media talking about it. You never hear Nick Mangwana even tweeting about it. You never hear George Charamba talking about it. They turn a blind eye as if they see no evil and they hear no evil. And this is very, very painful. While ZANU-PF continues to make life very difficult for citizens of Zimbabwe, we continue also to experience hardship outside. So Zimbabweans are not safe. Zimbabweans that are in Zimbabwe are not safe. Zimbabweans that are outside Zimbabwe are still not safe. So there is no safety for the Zimbabwean people on this earth until we shall see the back of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF in cohorts and in relationship with their counterparts like ANC, who continue to support their evil. They see South Africans killing Zimbabweans in South Africa, but they never voice it with the ANC to say, guys, can you do something and also try and protect our people? Because Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, they don't consider Zimbabweans that have left the country as Zimbabweans anymore. And you remember at one point, Mugabe said, Zimbabweans are in Zimbabwe. We don't know what you are talking about those that are out there. He used to mock the people that have gone out, saying they are busy washing and cleaning the backs of the old people out there, the Chembere, Kwesha, Msanae Chembere. That's what Mugabe used to say, mocking Zimbabweans that have gone out of the country and are trying to make a living. And it is said when you have leaders who don't have empathy for their own people. In fact, you are not supposed to be even called leaders, because why should that name or that title ever be given to any people who don't care about the people? Because to be a leader, to have that title on its own, it means care, it means love, it means empathy. But we have a leadership of this crude and evil government that does not care about what happens to Zimbabwean people. And it is sad, very sad development. I could not even take longer showing you those pictures. They are very, very gruesome. And I can't stand looking at somebody being killed like a chicken. Even chickens, I don't think we even kill them that. We even at times kill them in a dignified manner than the way that Zimbabweans are being killed in countries like South Africa. It is sad. And we cannot continue to have ZANU-PF in power when things are becoming even worse and worse by the day back home. We really need to stand and declare the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. We need Zimbabwe free. Zimbabwe must be freed from ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is causing the death of Zimbabweans right inside Zimbabwe and even outside Zimbabwe. Some people that have died outside Zimbabwe were not supposed to die, but they died just because they were not taken like full human beings. They were not taken like people that have human rights in places that they have gone to, and they lost their lives in the process. And we have some that have contracted diseases in places that they've entered. We have Zimbabweans that have gone into the mines in DRC there. When you see those mines in DRC where you see like hundreds of thousands of people gathered in one hall, and the conditions that they are living, they are just inhuman. And we have such Zimbabweans also in such places. We have Zimbabweans who are living in some squalid conditions in Mozambique and in many other countries that are going through some very, very unfortunate experiences. But all thanks to ZANU-PF, it is because a country that was the breadbasket of Africa, a country that was known as the best performing economy of Africa, given to these ZANU-PF guerrillas, they came and destroyed everything. And today here we are still fighting to make sure that we get rid of these goons. And yet they are still busy trying to draft and to change the constitution, try to change the laws, try to, threaten Zimbabweans, kill Zimbabweans for them to continue ruling the country, so that they achieve what at the end of the day? They just rule for themselves and they don't care about what is happening to Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans in the diaspora are tired. They need to come home. Zimbabweans in the diaspora are frustrated. They need to come home. Zimbabweans in the diaspora are living in fear. Some are living in poverty. Some are living under threats, but they can't do anything. They can't go back home because home is also equally the same. But Zimbabweans deserve better. This is why we are saying we need to continue to demand the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. And the blue movement and the blue train that God has released in this season is the vehicle that is taking us to the new great Zimbabwe. This is why we are saying, intercessors and citizens, let us continue in prayer. I'm telling you, there is no other solution that will bring Zimbabweans back home. There is no other solution that will take away the suffering and the poverty, the ill treatment of Zimbabweans other than prayer. Everything has been tried. This is why it has taken long. This time around, we have to believe in prayer and leave those people who mock God and who mock the power of prayer from right from inside Zimbabwe and outside. Let us put, wool and seal our ears and never listen to those people that mock prayer. I'm telling you, prayer is the only solution and the last solution left for Zimbabwe to be free, because this time around it's God who is coming through to rescue Zimbabweans out of their clutches of the devil. So let us continue in prayer, citizens, and continue to support the blue movement. Let us pray for the leadership, pray for the change champion, pray for the wisdom, pray for guidance from the Holy Spirit, that those that are going to believe in this movement, may they go do that, hearing the voice of the Lord, hearing the voice of the Spirit of God, so that whatever it is that God has planned for the nation of Zimbabwe is established, especially in this season. It's painful what we are seeing happening out there. It's painful, the experiences of our people out there because of ZANU-PF. Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF must fall. And they must fall like yesterday. They must just go. We are sick and tired. Enough is enough. This is the time for the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. We can't have our people being killed like animals day in and day out, and they have nothing to say about it, nothing to do about it. They ignore as if just an animal has been killed, when it is somebody's child, somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, somebody's young brother. We cannot allow that to continue happening. This is why we are saying, support the blue movement. Let us support Nelson Chamisa, no matter how much they can attack him and say whatever they say. Let the baseline of Zimbabwean continue to stand with this man. So far up to this time, he is the only politician who has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he is true and he has the heart of the Zimbabwean people. And he is the only person who has proven that he cannot be bought with money. So after seeing all this, no matter what they can say about him, we will not listen to their insults and their propaganda. We will continue to support the man, because it's the man that has proven that he can be used by God to bring liberty to the Zimbabwean people. And the new great Zimbabwe manifesting in this season, because we only have one true politician in Zimbabwe who happens to be the change champion. Let us stand with the change champion, pray for the change champion, stand with the blue movement, and definitely the Zimbabwe that we so wish is coming to be delivered into our hands. This is the season, citizens. It is our season of change. The season has come, and God is not a man that will lie. The promises of God are coming to pass in this season. We are tired of being treated like second-class citizens of this world just because ZANU-PF continues to stay in power and steal and cause impoverish Zimbabweans and cause sufferings of the Zimbabwean people. We are here to say enough is enough. We are standing as intercessors, praying that the will of God is delivered for the nation of Zimbabwe. We can't have this anymore. We can't have Zanu PF even an extra day. We want Zanu PF to fall like yesterday. And it is going to happen. And this is this time. And this is the season. Continue to be strong citizens. Do not lose hope. Do not walk by sight, walk by faith. Believe what God has promised in this season, and we are going to see the freedom of the Zimbabwean people manifesting, and God is definitely in it, and it is going to happen. So, family, thank you very much for joining me in this show. We really want to continue praying and believing God that it is going to happen. Let me just look at one or two contributions. Katie Mungwede says, God is in it as in his silence, God is going to manifest. Exactly, God is in it. My sister, let's continue in prayer. All right, my brother Edwin says, the situation we are facing as Zimbabweans is so painful. The majority are suffering. Only a few celebrities are enjoying at the expense of the majority. It's so painful to be second-class citizens. Indeed, my brother, upon the people of Zimbabwe, and definitely we are going to see it happening. My sister Sandra, how are you? She's saying good afternoon, Chatufa family. Yes, afternoon to you. Hope everything is well with you. Gift Nyemba is also saying greetings, Chatufa family. Thank you very much for the greetings. My sister Hilda Machoba is throwing in a lot of blue hearts. Yes, Gay Bay is saying also many blue hearts. Thank you so much, family, for joining me on the show. We want to continue to believe God that freedom of the Zimbabwean people has come, and the freedom is now. Let us continue to stand in prayer and support the change champion and support the movement. We are definitely getting there. The season has come. So, family, we are going to be meeting again for the upcoming show. It is going to be there. I think it's just going to be a 5:45. We are going to be there again on Chatufa Television Production. We'll be looking at yet another story. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Remain blessed. Shalom, shalom.